What's up, you guys? Bruce Murata here with Whiskey Throttle Media. We're out here today at Glen Helen Raceway for our Big Wheel Mini Bike 2025 Shootout. We got some of the baddest, raddest groms out here to try these bikes for us. We're super excited to get the feedback from them. Hopefully, we don't see any of them fly away in this 100-mile-per-hour wind out here, but we're super excited to get the feedback and see what the results are at the end.
Let's go, baby.
Get in there. Get in there. Go in there.
Hey, come on, get up in that camera, baby. Yeah, it was my first time riding most of these brands, and especially on like the 85 version. I've only ever ridden the Husky. I thought a lot of them were really fun, and it was cool to be able to kind of explore the different opportunities and what each bike has to offer.
Yeah, it was my first time riding the Caiden CRF 150. It's pretty amazing how much different they are compared to the Austrian bikes.
Yeah, it definitely was my first time trying a new bike, and it was a lot different than what I'm used to riding, and I'm glad I ventured out and tried some new equipment.
Yeah, it was my first time riding a bunch of these bikes. I've ridden the YZ, but it's changed a lot since then, and I don't know, a lot of the bikes shocked me. I didn't expect them to be as good as they were and fun, but other than that, I've stuck to the Husky for a while.
I'd have to say the fastest bike today was definitely the KTM, which is really surprising because, you know, there's the 150, there's all these different bikes, and the Cali was a 112, but I think that KTM 85 had some definite speed on those other bikes.
I think the fastest bike was the KTM and Husky. They had a bunch of bottom end in the corners, a lot of high speed, and of course you got the 112 Cowie and the CRF 150, but the KTM and Husky just had something different.
Yeah, I'm gotta go with the KTM. It was, for being an 85, felt like a super mini, and but man, that 150, it got going. So, but no, it was really awesome.
Yeah, the KTM was definitely the fastest. That and the Husky, I forgot I was an 85 for a minute while riding them. So, other than that, everything else was kind of far off the Austrian bikes.
I really didn't notice a considerable difference in terms of motor speed hopping between all the two strokes. The four-stroke was obviously a lot different in terms of like bottom end to top end due to being a four-stroke, but not major difference. I'd say the KTM and Husky still had like an edge on everything, but the 112, it was about the same as the 85s.
Yeah, same as me. Yeah, the Cowie 112 was obviously pretty fast. I didn't really notice the power as much. The KTM and Husky stepped it up with their engine power this year, especially with their chassis. And the Cowie didn't feel that much noticeable. It had a bunch of vibration, but that's the only thing I really noticed.
Yeah, when you guys actually said that Cowie actually brought out a 112 for us to ride, I was a bit shocked because I thought we were only doing 85s, and I really kind of paid attention to that throughout the whole day. And I did notice that it did have more torque and bottom end than the KTM. But high speed KTM and the 150 was actually up there too. But yeah, KTM, Husky, all super great bikes.
Yeah, the Cowie had about the same low end as like the KTM and Husky, but kind of fell on its face. You had to shift pretty quick on that thing, but it was really fun to ride. I had a fun time on it.
First of all, that was the most fun bike I've probably ever ridden, and dude, that thing sounded mean. So it was so fun to get on that thing, sound like Justin Barsha, and just let it eat. So it was a lot of fun. The foot stroke was obviously different, and dude, I'm coming up on big bikes, and they're getting out of my way now when I'm on that thing, so it was pretty sick.
Yeah, the 150 was super enjoyable. Had a lot of high speed end, especially when it got to the top. It was so fun just riding the 4-stroke, being able to let the thing rip up the lips, and it was cool to try something different.
Man, that was a lot of fun on the 150. I haven't had that much fun on a bike in quite some time, and as soon as I got on that thing, I was just revving her to the moon. So it was a blast, just berm blasting, scrubbing it, whipping it, and yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, the 150 was, I mean, it was quite a bit slower than everything else we had, but it was super fun. I had so much fun on it. I think I put the most time on that than any other bike. But yeah, like Bronx said, I felt like Justin Barsha on that thing, just letting it just bounce off the limiter all day. So, but yeah, I thought it was cool, but it wasn't very competitive.
So for that, I'm definitely going to go with the Husky. A lot of the other bikes, especially because they're not my suspension settings like to a T, and they're not exactly, built to me, the Husky was immediately planted. It would really kind of suck down the front end. Rear end weren't kicking out and trying to get away from me. So, and it cornered really well. I'd say just above all, like by a long shot, was the Husky for me.
Yeah, same as me. The Husky and KTM were really well when it got rough. The chassis changes that they made was really good in the right direction. You would go over the bumps and it would stay really settle. It seems like they have like more metal under the chassis, so it helps it plant more. And yeah, that seemed like the best bike.
Yeah, I think I gotta go with the KTM. I think it was the best handling. Like Dylan said, it plants like extremely well in the corners. I would come into the corners on, so let's say my bike, which is a 24, and it gets a little bit sideways, you can correct it a little bit, but that 25, I just lay into the throttle, and that thing just stays planted and just tracks right out of the corner. So I got to go with the KTM and Husky on that one.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with everyone else. The Austrian bikes definitely handled the best, and it was a little weird. They were a little more squatted than, the older models, but still felt the best, and I didn't have an issue with them. But it's kind of what I know best, so I was used to it pretty fast.
Same bike I chose for handling best in the rough stuff, that Husky. Across the board, I scored it 5 on just about everything, good as you can get, in my opinion, or best I've ever ridden. It just, handling was better than every other bike. It was equal to the KTM in terms of that speed off the bottom and top. Just everything. It had everything, every single category that you could possibly think of. That bike, in my eyes, was better than everything else that was out there.
Yeah, same as me. I would rate it the Husky. I've been riding a KTM for the past few years, and the KTM Husky were pretty similar, but I really liked the Husky plastics. It was wider, so when you'd come and sit down, your legs were already almost gripping the bike, versus the KTM, you'd have to move your legs to grip it. So yeah, I picked that. It was handled really well. The corner speed was unbelievable. The chassis was so planted, and yeah.
Yeah, like they said, I got to go with the KTM. I've ridden a KTM my whole life, and they're amazing bikes, and like Dylan said, the chassis, it was planted really well in the corners and had some really good power and stuff, but came close with the Kawasaki too. I really liked that bike, and it handled really well in the rough stuff, and just kind of pushed me to get going out there a little bit faster. And yeah, I liked both. Both were like really comfortable.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the KTM. I mean, it handled really good throughout the entire day. I had no issue in the rough and no issue while it was smooth. It did feel a little faster than the Husky, but I rode it at a different time. That could be why, but I don't know, it felt really good, and I had no issue on it all the whole day.
I mean, come on. It's not even close. I was just kind of gapping all of these guys. They couldn't hold a candle. I was probably 20 seconds a lap faster, and that's saying like keeping it conservative, so they were pretty much, nothing.
They all won't say me because they didn't see me out there. I was so far ahead of them. I left them all in the dust today.
Well, I mean, I think Bronx was over-exaggerating like quite a bit. Same with Dylan too. They really just couldn't hang with the pace, and especially on the 150, blew them all out of the water. So just rev bombing them in the air, just looking over, giving them like some roost here and there, and just smoked them.
I got the mic. But no, I don't know. I mean, whether they're faster or not, I was on the limiter so bad on the 150, I probably would have scared them off the track. Like, I would have finished first either way. So, but I don't know. I don't know who was the fastest, but I felt fastest on the 150. I felt cool on that thing.
All right, guys, so you heard it from our test riders. We got our results in, and let me just tell you something. This isn't exactly apples to apples here. All these manufacturers make a really good motorcycle, and these kids actually had a really hard time ranking these bikes because it came really close. So in fifth came the CRF 150. Fourth was going to be YZ85. Third is going to be the KX 112. And now we have a tie for first and second, which is going to be the Husqvarna 85 and the KTM 85, which is pretty understandable as they're almost the same exact motorcycle. So at the end of the day, it was a really cool shootout. These kids had a blast. They had a great time. So with all that said, at the end of the day, all these manufacturers really make a good motorcycle. It just really comes down to rider preference. So when you go to that dealership, just get whatever you want and have fun. Thank you so much for watching.
If you like this video, please be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos, comment what you thought, and share it with your friends.